The story begins with a man who had suffered severe injuries. In that state, he arrives at a police station and tells the officers present that he has killed someone. The police officer is momentarily stunned because, until now, no one had ever come to the station and confessed to a murder like this. They investigate his case, and he receives a 5-year sentence for the crime of murder. 3 years later, see a highway where a horrific accident has occurred. Some people take Officer Luke to the crime scene. There he sees that the victim's car is completely wrecked. When they remove the cover from the body, it's clear that the injuries are not the result of an accident. Someone had murdered him. A gun is also found at the scene, but it wasn't used in the killing. The forensic doctor examines the body and reports that the ribs and chest bones were broken. There are no signs of cuts anywhere on the body, but the neck bones and windpipe are fractured. These injuries couldn't have been caused by the accident. They are marks of a deliberate attack. Whoever committed this murder knew precisely which parts of the body to target to ensure death. A stamp is also found at the scene, left by the killer as a signature. Meanwhile, we see Jack, who is still serving his sentence in prison. A new inmate arrives, and Jack takes an immediate liking to him. However, the other prisoners do not accept him. That day, they harass and threaten him in the cafeteria, saying, "Old man, sit on this bench again, and we'll break your legs so you'll never sit again." The newcomer refuses to back down, but before the situation escalates, Jack intervenes and stops the fight. At that moment, Jack notices the TV, which is showing news about the murder from the previous night. Seeing this, Jack immediately approaches a guard, insisting on speaking with someone. The guard tells him to fill out a form first, but Jack had seen something in the news that made it urgent. After repeated requests, the guard still refuses. Left with no other choice, Jack returns to his cell and brutally beats the prisoners who had been bullying the newcomer. Chaos erupts in the prison as a gang of dangerous inmates surrounds him. Even though he's alone, Jack fights them off, carefully avoiding lethal strikes. However, when the gang leader hits Jack on the head with a heavy iron bar, an unprecedented rage ignites in him. Jack breaks the leader's limbs with a single blow, stopping just short of killing him because he had sworn not to take a life. Guards finally restrain Jack, but he continues demanding to see Officer Luke. Disturbed by the commotion, Luke finally agrees to meet him. The guards explain to Luke that Jack has maintained a good record in prison over the last 3 years, but suddenly asked about her and started the fight. His behavior is unusual. When Luke meets him, Jack says, "Ma'am, I want to give something to those prisoners I hit. Next time you visit, I want them to receive it." He wants them to get packs of cigarettes because they weren't at fault. Luke responds, "Why do you think I'll come again? Do you know who the killer is?" Jack explains that he had fought the man murdered last night in a boxing ring. The man was a skilled boxer who did not know who killed him, but Jack knows what the killer is thinking. He warns that the killer will strike again. Jack believes the murders are not random. There is a purpose behind them. He could even be killed for speaking out. But the brutality he witnessed confirms that he's dealing with a psychopath. Luke is skeptical, since no concrete evidence has been found yet, but she instructs her team to gather details of the 8 people Jack suspects as the next victims. Meanwhile, the serial killer is planning his next murder, writing names on the wall, and preparing to strike that night. Next, we see a famous sculptor working late to finish an incomplete piece. 10 years ago, he was Asia's champion in kicking techniques and could defeat anyone, but he had retired and become an artist. Suddenly, someone enters his studio without permission. The man introduces himself as Wang and challenges the sculptor to a fight. The loser dies. Reluctantly, the sculptor accepts after Wang destroys his sculpture. The fight is brutal. The sculptor notices Wang has one leg shorter, but is still fighting expertly. Wang breaks the sculptor's leg and finally delivers a deadly kick, breaking his neck and killing him. Meanwhile, Luke discovers that 3 years ago, Jack ran a martial arts school and even taught the police. But one day, a murder occurred under his supervision, and Jack served a 5-year sentence. Luke also learns of another murder in the city, one of the 8 people Jack named. Jack already knows about it, and deduces the victim's death was caused by a deadly kick. Jack explains to Luke that the first victim was a skilled boxer, beaten to death, while the second victim was killed with a lethal kick. He refuses to reveal further details, unless released. To keep the case from slipping out of their hands, Luke arranges a temporary release for Jack with a 24-hour active cell phone. Jack explains that the killer is highly skilled in martial arts and that all the targets are expert fighters. The next likely target will also be a martial arts master. They head to Monk City, anticipating the killer's arrival. Meanwhile, the serial killer marks his next victim and then attacks another skilled grappler. Wang kills him easily, using advanced grappling techniques. By the time Jack arrives, it's too late, but he can deduce how the killing was done. Jack finally spots Wang, who challenges him with a glare and a lightning-fast leap onto another building. Jack cannot follow, and Wang's eyes seem to taunt him. "You can't catch me." Turning home, Jack is met with a slap from his wife, Shenyang, but he remains calm and embraces her. Also apologizes to his father for disobeying him. Shin ties a string around Jack's hand to help him control himself. While helping with household chores, Jack finds a box containing the same stamp left by the killer at the crime scene. Shin tells him a man had left it for her 3 months ago. Jack realizes the killer's threat extends to him as well and must be stopped immediately. The next day, Jack visits those with information about the killer. They reveal that centuries ago, the stamp was given to fighters who lost a duel. While discussing the case, an elderly man overhears them and says he knows Wong. He reveals that 6 years ago, Wong had challenged him, defeated him, and left the same stamp. Jack learns that Wong lives nearby. The police launch a search operation, learning from the landlady that Wong had moved months ago with his sick wife. The evidence in the abandoned room shows the extent of Wong's brutal training. He would rub a white substance on his face, sometimes causing it to bleed, a traditional method, using salt to toughen the skin for fighting. Notes on the walls reveal Wong's ambition. He wants to be number one and is killing the finest kung. Fu Masters ACA realizes they have located the killer. They must find him quickly. Jack insists on returning to the mission. Luke allows his wife to accompany him for safety. The next target is an expert in weapons. Before Wong can reach him, Jack and his team arrive. The man, a master swordsman, now runs a restaurant. Asterisk, here is your full passage translated into clear. Cinematic English. Ack learned that years ago, the man had been in a serious accident, after which doctors had implanted metal rods in his arms. Jack immediately realized they had come to the wrong person, because Wong would never fight someone weak. As he was thinking, he suddenly remembered one of the man's students, a well-known action star in Hong Kong, trained by him. Cut to Hong Kong. On a film set, an action movie is being shot. The action star, Louis Fan, is about to perform a stunt when Wong suddenly steps in front of him. Some crew members try to remove Wong, but he stabs one of them with a real sword. This isn't a movie fight, Wong says coldly. Everyone, leave. Terrified, the entire film crew runs away. Wong then challenges Louis Fan, accepting the challenge. Louis picks up his weapon. An intense sword fight begins. Louis is highly skilled, but Wong's brutal training gives him the upper hand. Wong stabs him in the back. Despite being wounded, Louis refuses to give up. Soon, both of them lose their swords. Wong then attacks him with a sharp blade, repeatedly striking him. In the end, he fatally wounds him, killing him. Jack realizes that Wong is obsessed with becoming number one. We have to stop him, he says, or he'll kill everyone better than him. Meanwhile, the police commissioner informs Luke that the previous murders were already making headlines, but this latest one is different. The victim was from the film industry. Media pressure is mounting. The commissioner wants to shut the case down, but Luke requests 72 hours to catch the killer. By now, the media has named him the Kung Fu Killer. Fear spreads so much that even students of judo, karate, and kung fu are terrified. One day, the police receive a call from Wong, but he only wants to talk to Jack. Wong says, "Won't you thank me for getting you out of prison? You're so skilled in kung fu that no prison could hold you if you wanted. But you always hid your strength. When we met on the rooftop, you disappointed me. I hope next time you give me a real fight." Then he adds chillingly, "If I kill your wife, you'll be able to kill anyone." Jack's blood boils. Wong continues, "There's only one way to stop me, kill me." During the call, the police trace his location. But by the time they arrive, he's gone. From this, Luke realizes that Wong knows Jack very well. She orders an investigation into Jack's past 3 years' calls, and contacts and issues a lookout notice for Wong. Forensic reports reveal that the salt Wong uses on his face comes from a small village. They quickly go there and finally locate his house. Luke instructs the team. Nothing is proven yet. Don't shoot. They search the house, but find nothing. However, fresh flowers near his wife's ashes reveal that he still visits. Since the next day is her birthday, they set up surveillance cameras and leave everything untouched. The next day, Wong returns. He looks emotionally broken. As if burdened by guilt, a flashback reveals his sick wife, suffering from cancer. Unable to afford treatment, Wang couldn't bear her pain and, in a moment of rage, killed her himself. Her death wasn't natural, it was murder, and Wang has never forgiven himself. Back in the present, Wang notices something strange: dogs still tied up. He senses danger and turns away instead of entering. Despite constant surveillance, he suddenly disappears. Soon, Jack's call records and prison CCTV are uncovered. Luke sees that Wang had been visiting Jack for 3 years. They clearly knew each other. Suspicious. Luke points a gun at Jack. With no choice, Jack disarms her but doesn't hurt anyone. He locks them in and escapes. Meanwhile, Wang eliminates the officers chasing him. Luke orders her team. Jack is involved too. Stop him. Shoot if necessary. Shin panics and starts searching for Jack. Wang reaches his house and finds his wife's ashes missing. Shin appears, holding them, and warns him to leave Jack alone. But Wang attacks her. A fierce fight breaks out. Shin is also skilled with a sword. But Wang overpowers her and critically injures her. Just as he is about to finish her, Jack arrives. Seeing Shin in critical condition, Jack calls for an ambulance, but no one responds. Wang had already killed the officers, furious. Jack attacks Wang. During their fight, the urn containing the ashes falls and shatters. Enraged, Wang goes berserk. Their fight continues until both fall into the water. Wang escapes by hijacking a police boat, killing more officers. Luke chases him, but he escapes again. Shin is taken to the hospital. Meanwhile, Jack is now a fugitive. He contacts Luke and explains everything. Wang had approached him in prison, calling him his master. Jack never imagined he would misuse martial arts. Wang had challenged him before, but Jack refused. Wang then threatened Shin, forcing Jack to get out of prison now, realizing the danger. Jack decides he must stop Wang himself. Despite Luke's attempts to stop him, Jack leaves. Soon after, the commissioner removes Luke from the case, but she continues secretly and discovers one last name on Wang's lista, surviving target. She rushes to warn him. Meanwhile, Wang has already reached the man, a former kung fu practitioner now working as a truck driver. But unexpectedly, Jack steps out of the truck. He had already warned the man. Wang smiles. You didn't run. Good. The final fight begins. Wang attacks relentlessly, but Jack calmly observes at first. As Wang grows impatient and faster, Jack finally counters. The fight turns intense. Wang uses grappling techniques, but Jack slips out like water. Jack beats him and lands a powerful kick, sending Wang toward a moving truck but pulls him back. Wanting to finish him himself, Wang tries to escape, but Jack chases him. They fight again. Wang is exhausted now. Then Jack drops his staff. They stand on opposite sides of the road, cars speeding between them, giving Wang a brief moment to recover.